Hello students. In our business communication and the technologically innovated advanced technology is need to be studied. So communication is day by day we have seen undergone a tremendous transformation till now, and that we have seen over the ages. We have so many examples around us, so many uh, communication related medias are around us. And what are they? Of course, we have studied verbal communication and non-verbal communication, but the technologically advanced equipments modes are also being invented with the human so-called intelligence and research, and this research has contributed to innovate in the technological sector. In our earlier few lectures, we have discussed about the the technologically advanced influence of technology on the advancement of communication, because we have seen communication by post and communication in today's era. So we have seen entire post or postal system are being replaced with the email and computers and internet and now WhatsApp. See, we have to study these media or modes of communication in uh, in our so-called invention. We have seen the first occurrence of the communication. This may be called as one of the innovation that revolutionized the world in the era when it was invented in 18th century. So telephone, let's discuss about the telephone. See, telephone may be defined as an electronic instrument which helps us to transmit through insulated cables not only the actual human voice and words spoken, but also the pitch and tone of the voice who receives the telephone, and it may be in this country or outside India. See, so we have these insulated cables that are laid underground. Few say years ago, or say some of say last decade, means just a decade ago, we have telephonic lines and wires that were hung on the telephone poles. So the invention of such a insulated means line has been established. Such a line goes through now tremendous change, and the wires are replaced with wireless system thanks to the earth nature that blessed us with this capacity, and that is what we have seen the invention of the cordless phones, pagers, cellular phones that are made it necessary. So telephone was called as landline phone, or it's still been called as landline phones. It was invented by Alexander Bell in 1876. The crude instrument Graham Bell has undergone a tremendous change. The size. See, the telephone is used for oral communication, and that is what we had to study this. But in the 19th century, late 19th century, this telephone was an electronic device that revolutionized the entire concept of business organization, not just in in Europe or foreign countries, but also in India when the service was made available in Indian big cities like Bombay at that time. See, through telephone, we have certain facilities that we can avail, and these facilities are subscriber trunk dialing, that is STD. IST, it stands for International Subscribers Dialing. Lightning call services, demand call services, these are various services that are provided by the telephone. So, electronic call transfer, call forwarding, see calling line identification that we call caller ID. Okay, then ISDN. This is also one of the service that we see, and this service was provided by the companies uh, just to prove an asset to the corporate bodies. The company managers, the company directors can conduct meetings, conferences through the business associates anywhere in the world from the comfort of their office in India. So, this type of teleconferencing is proved as a boon to the corporate sector or business community. So, the telephone system is rented at the time from the postal offices, but we have seen there is private automatic branch exchange in which all extensions have been brought, and then we have seen as the technology becomes cheaper, as it is uh, it is brought under the marketing system, it brought under the privatization, then started this telephone service started to gain some grounds, and everybody felt that we should have the telephone connection, and that is what all organization, all businesses, smaller or bigger, private or public, they realize that the importance of telephone is very much required in their so-called in their communication system, and to tap the communication so that this communication may be time to time applied to their businesses. What are the advantages of this mobile phone communication? See, it is an important medium of oral communication through which messages are exchanged between two parties. At the same time, through telephone, we can get in access to the internet. So, internet service, it provides us another facility, and that is internet and email or Gmail. So, like this also helps us in our communication process. So, in within a second, within few minutes, we can have an exchange of emails. So, immediate feedback is always received through email, and so much of a data can be shared through email. So, this is one of the advantage of this particular communication system. It saves time, of course it is immediate, so it saves the time. Any person we can talk to, it's personal, it makes communication between two people, continents, countries possible. So there is intercom facility that we can get, and it's a very convenient device. We can see it's a very small device. Now these days we have just a small piece we can hang everywhere, or we can keep in the corner of the home. See, so it is a very sleek and slender convenient device to have with, but now it is also been replaced with another technology, and this technology has proved also a boon to the communication. What are the disadvantages of this? See, telephone talk is not recorded. Since telephone talk is not recorded, means just like oral communication, if it is uttered, जेव्हा बोललेलं असेल तेवढ्या पुरतंच त्याचं अस्तित्व असतं, अनलेस इट इज रेकॉर्डेड. जोपर्यंत आपण रेकॉर्ड करत नाही तोपर्यंत. जर रेकॉर्ड केलं गेलं असेल तर त्याचा लिगल एव्हिडन्स म्हणून व्हॅलिडिटी आपण त्याला देऊ शकतो. बट इफ इट इज नॉट रेकॉर्डेड, इट इज गॉन फॉर एव्हर, म्हणजे कायम स्वरूपासाठी निघून जात असतं. म्हणून टेलिफोन टॉक हे ओरल कम्युनिकेशनसाठी आहे. त्याला रेकॉर्ड केलं नसेल, पुन्हा व्हॉइस टेस्टिंग येतं, म्हणून रेकॉर्ड केलं नसेल तर त्याला कुठल्याही प्रकारची लिगल व्हॅलिडिटी असत नाही. Now, body language is communicated. We have seen face-to-face communication as a very good advantageous one because it takes into account both ways of communication, like verbal communication, oral communication, and non-verbal communication. So both of them can be seen in face-to-face communication, but telephone we cannot see the other person. So body language is not communicated in the telephonic conversation. Again, it is possible that the call may come at a wrong when you are asleep in the fast deep sleep, having sweet dreams in the night, and when the telephone rings, definitely it causes the panic, and also if it is a nuisance call, then you become angry. These are the disadvantages of telephone communication. But whatever, telephone has proved a very great boon for over a century. See, since it is invented, telephone is used till the end of the 20th century, and now these days we have so many offices equipped with telephone services and telephone connections. Why so? Because still mobile technology is not so advantageous or is not so affordable as telephones are. See, even today we have very good internet service through landline telephone communications. The plans are cheap rather than mobile communications, of course. So these are the advantages, and still we have very preliminary source: fax communication, telephone communication, internet communication. These are the facilities that we can avail on the telephone, and that is what business organizations are applying these facilities, advantages, taking full advantages of this type of communication because of telephone. So telephone makes their businesses to run smoothly. It is a kind of a lubricant. Communication or telephone communication is a kind of a lubricant to the business organization, without which they will fail to some extent. So we have telephone as one of the mode of communication. Let's move on to another mode of communication that is very popular among the young people like you, collegians. And now today's day, we have seen the change, and that is reflected in our so-called day-to-day life, and that is online teaching, mobile phones. Of course, these mobile phones or cellular phones are also a communication boom that has tremendously undergone tremendous change since the invention in the last decade of the 20th century, first decade of 21st century, and second decade. We are in the second decade now, second decade of 21st century, and now we have so many generations of these technologies are going to come up. Now we are moving to 5G, fourth, fifth generation. We are now in the fourth generation. In some of the countries, fifth generation is also been adopted. But India, we are having, and recently you might have listened to the news that the Reliance industry is entering in the fifth generation 5G services. Okay, so this G is generation. So we have now generations. So what is mobile phone? You must be equipped. You may have seen there are the parts of mobile phone. What is called as parts? Now millions of people are using this mobile phone and these mobile phones are mobile because they can be taken anywhere, and from anywhere we can talk with anyone. That is what it keeps its position plus changing, and plus is changing. See, so a cellular phone is actually a very sophisticated radio type because it works on radio frequencies, or it works on the say frequencies. Combination of certain parts that you will see in this particular slide are the parts of mobile phone. So we have circuit board. Of course, it may be called as a brain of the phone, memory we can call it. Then we have an antenna on which we can have the frequencies are received and emitted, spread out or sent. A liquid crystal display that you can see your videos, mostly YouTube videos, or you can see so many videos or display whatever is data is there in your mobile phone that you can see on the crystal display. Then we have keyboard. Of course, now it is a virtual keyboard, and now in the old phones with a keyboard, physical keyboard, that is on the half part of the mobile phone. It's an old type of phone that was very first invented. If you go through the first generation of mobile phone, we need to take the antenna out of the mobile phone and raise it to such an extent, then we were able to speak. But now the antenna has gone. It is just a small hole on the top of the mobile phone which serves as an antenna. Now the technology has advanced since then. Then we have a microphone. See, microphone is able to receive our voice and to send it to the other. So it is a microphone which listens our voice. Then we have a speaker from which we can listen to other sound. Okay, and a battery because it serves as a energy for the mobile phone to work on. So it is electricity energy or electric energy saved in the form of a battery, and for all these functions to perform, the energy is provided by battery. It's so that is what we have. Cellular phone has a built in a lower power transmitter. The power consumption is of course very low. Low power means very small batteries that we see. A cell phone is therefore is battery operated. It can be held in one's hand, where sleek, slim. Now we have the target now. Okay, we have seen the ladies running just like looking at getting slimmer, just like a mobile phone because it is slimmer, slender, smart one. We have circuit board. Cell phone is of course most important part. It works. There are certain blue chips that are inserted. It's a kind of a circuit, digital technology for outgoing and incoming signals, audio signals. This chip take the functions of the keyboard and crystal display and works on the orders, means by the keyboard orders. Okay, so it needs, cellular phone needs the SIM card. Okay, so what is the SIM card? SIM card is subscriber identification module. Because SIM cards are smaller, removable disk that can be inserted in a cellular phone. These cards store data and identification numbers. See, so through cellular phones we use so many other services, and these services are SMS services, sending and receiving SMS, email. Now we have email. Now the smartphone technology based on Android and iOS technology, they need email syncing. Without syncing email, you cannot use the mobile technology. Storing information, of course we may have so many storage. What is GB? Internal storage, external storage. So storage is also one of the advantage that we can see. See, as it works on calendar, we can have appointment, we can set the reminders, we can have built-in computers, and now the software technology in these Android based technology that we can download and that we call as software applications. Applications means for what purpose, you can use the mobile phone. मोबाईल ज्या कामासाठी वापरायचा त्याच्यासाठी तयार केलेली वेबसाईट जी ॲप्लिकेशन्स म्हणून किंवा शॉर्ट फॉर्ममध्ये ॲप्स म्हणून आपण त्याला म्हणतो. मग आपण पाहतो की वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीचे ॲप्स आपण डाउनलोड करतो. हे ॲप्स हे सॉफ्टवेअर ॲप आहे जे विशिष्ट कामासाठी वापरले जातात. जसं बुकिंगसाठीचं ॲप, आरोग्य सेतू ॲप, बघा विशिष्ट कामासाठी तयार केलेले ॲप्स आहेत, सॉफ्टवेअर ॲप्लिकेशन्स आहेत. आणि ही सॉफ्टवेअर ॲप्लिकेशन्स आपल्याला ह्या मोबाईल फोनमध्ये वापरता येतात. सी like this, we have MMS services, media, multimedia. We can share photos, we can share of course videos. Now the sharing application, WhatsApp, there Telegram, there are other medias. Okay, such a sharing apps are aplenty, and these apps makes us to send and receive such a text messages, such a multimedia services. We can share PPTs, we can share data, we can share videos, we can share links, we can share PDF files, Word files, Excel files, anything we can share right now, and that is multimedia services. See, through mobile phones we do have two types of services, and that are global system for mobile communication. It is called as GSM service. It stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. You can take the screenshot of this particular slide. So certain questions may come up in your exam paper that you can give them. Code division multiple access, and it is also CDMA service. Okay, see, now what is the difference between these two services? See, code division multiple access means we have a spectrum. That spectrum is allocated to 8 simultaneous calls, means a frequency is used by 8 subscribers. So it is called as CDMA services. Okay, and global system module, here each subscriber gets a full extensive service spectrum to use, and that makes the communication very speedily and very so-called clearly, because the subscriber ग्राहक पूर्णपणे स्पेक्ट्रमचा वापर करू शकतो, आणि ज्यामुळे आपल्याला इंटरनेट ॲक्सेस चांगला मिळतो, ज्यामुळे डाटा डाउनलोडिंग चांगलं होतं. आणि म्हणून आता टेक्नॉलॉजी ही पुढे आलेली आहे. ही सगळी सर्व्हिसेस प्रोव्हाइड करणं हे त्या सरकारच्या अधिपत्याखाली असतं. It is under the government undertaking which regularizes these companies to provide such type of services to the consumers and customers. See, so we have these types of differences between CDMA and GSM technology that every student must know. See, the next type of service that we can get is need to be studied in full detail, and it is SMS communication. What is the advantage of SMS? We have seen now these days it is serving as a boom to the corporate world, banking world. Every text message we can OTP. Okay, banking services are availed on the mobile phone, and banking is sending alerts through SMS. So like this, SMS communication is also needs to be studied typically in a different way as a separate chapter. See, through mobile phone we can have SMS service. We have seen So many people are giving us alerts. It's a marketing boom. Advertising messages we receive, banking messages we receive, sale related messages we receive. We also receive some of the fraud messages too, but we should be aware of all that because it is very easy to reach. Of course, it is very easy to reach means with a minimum network communication we can get the SMS. See, it's personal to person communication. Of course, communication is personal one because SMS is written can be read by the person who owns and who is seeing. Okay, so it is personal communication, mostly used by political leaders on the telephonic or or debates on the television. Then we have economical. It's very cheap. We have seen so many. Just for 5 rupees, we can get hundreds of messages. So it is very banking and mobile companies are using these services. For the mobile service providers, this technology works on a very cheap. Okay, means they cost very less to send and to give us the mobile SMS communication. Earlier it was 1 rupee for one SMS, and they are getting expenses almost not. So they are overcharging SMS communication, and that we have seen defaulted by the government of India. Thanks to government of India, they they made this communication SMS communication quite cheap one. It is time saving. Okay, of course it saves our time. We can just send in few say seconds we can have SMS communication, so it saves the time. It's also has a boon in the field of banking. As I told you, it has improved our social life through SMS communication. We can get so many information messages, okay, that we can use, capitalize on and use for our betterment. सो डायनॅमिझम इज देअर. जीवनाला गती देण्याचं काम ह्या एस एम एस किंवा मोबाईल कम्युनिकेशननी केलेलं आहे. डिसिजन मेकिंगच्या प्रोसेसला त्यांनी चांगल्या पद्धतीचं केलेलं आहे. सो डेफिनेटली इट्स इम्प्रूव्ड सोशल लाईफ. It has definitely facilitated the decisions of businesses, and that has seen in the improved business relations and improved businesses marketing and turnover. Increase awareness of all events. Okay, we can get the alerts through SMS. So SMS alerts are always there. So we are very much aware of what is happening around us. So these are the advantages of SMS communication. Now, short message services can be used for betterment of human life, but there are certain disadvantages too. There may be false fraud messages too. Okay, so this is one of the thing. Then we may get attached to it, just like an addiction. If we are sending messages on the WhatsApp, you get addicted. Means you are chatting with so many people so many times and wasting your life, wasting your time, rather than doing something creative, and rather than doing something good for your career. If you are busy on mobile phone continuously, it is definitely going to restrict your activity, and that is going to consume your life as well, because you are wasting your time, your valuable time, on this particular say point of time when it is expected that you should work hard. विद्यार्थी दशेमध्ये जेव्हा आपल्याला अपेक्षित आहे का जेव्हा आपण जास्तीत जास्त कष्ट घ्यायला हवेत, करिअर करायला हवं, अशा वेळेस आपण मोबाईलमध्ये अडकून बसतो आणि मग आपल्या कष्टाचं, आपल्या टार्गेटचं, आपल्या जीवनाच्या ध्येयाकडे दुर्लक्ष होत असतं. दॅट वी हॅव टू पुट अप विथ. सी, there are spam messages, some messages that are sent to corrupt our data, to steal our data चोरून घेण्यासाठी स्पॅम मेसेजेस असतात. सो ही पण एक गोष्ट आपल्या लक्षात येते. मेसेज सर्व्हिसमध्ये काही ठिकाणी शब्दांचं लिमिटेशन असतं, हे पण डिसएडव्हान्टेज आहे, ज्यामुळे आपल्याला कम्युनिकेशन होऊ शकत नाही. काही वेळेस आपल्याला अनएथिकल म्हणजे अश्लील स्वरूपाचे, क्रिमिनल, थ्रेटनिंग असे मेसेजेस येऊ शकतात, अँड दिस इज वन ऑफ द डिसएडव्हान्टेज टू. सी, another communication media that we need to see is that of facsimile. See, facsimile we can have as a fax. It works on the telephonic communication. See, here we have the same facility, same lines that telephone lines are using. Through only the technological thing is that the machine to read the filled paper and to transfer these into code forms, and the machine makes the codes, reads the paper, makes the codes, and send it to the other one, where another machine reads the codes and get it printed on the piece of paper. In India, MTNL, who the company started this particular service, Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited in India, and this company used to charge like telephone. The code number for the fax machine is to be obtained from the MTNL. The license fee for the fax machine charged by MTNL is 3,000 per year. Now, uh, this company charges some of the say basic charges for facsimile. Fax has also proved along with telephone as a boon to the business community, since messages can be received from abroad after business hours. Moreover, fax is important on the telex and teleprinter, as there is no need to type the messages. The handwritten note can be printed just as it is inserted. It's like a Xerox machine, but it can be shared at a distant, say, any part of the world. Means that anywhere we can take this. But it has also been replaced, because we know we have these days WhatsApp messages and Gmail. So this facsimile is also been replaced with Gmail and WhatsApp and other sharing uh, applications. See, like this we have this particular say fax as a machine. Before going into the next mode of communication, that is computers, I would like to end here, because the video length is quite longer, so you won't be listening till the end in the longer videos. Thank you.